did, however, want to talk about something nobody talks about here in the metal scene. Excuse my laundry that's on the floor. Um, Pick me girls in the metal scene. So every male-dominated scene, whether that's the gaming community or whatever, there's going to be pick me girls. And because scene is so male-dominated, especially when you are a young girl, and I speak from experience because I used to be a massive pick me girl. And if you look at my older content, it's definitely very lucid there that I am, and I didn't realize it. So what happens is, for me specifically, I'm a very jealous person, especially when I was younger. I wasn't the most attractive girl. I didn't fit the beauty standards that you would see on social media. I didn't have that. I was very much giving Papa John vibes with the level of acne I had, and it was really embarrassing for me. So because I wasn't a pretty girl, I used my so-called personality to compensate, I guess. And when I did see really attractive metal girls, I got so jealous because I'd see their comments and everything, just oh my gosh, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy and stuff. And, being a 14, 15, 16-year-old girl, I was just I would gatekeep and use their beauty and what they were being called and stuff, just an attack, because that's something that I felt I didn't really have. But here's also another thing. When you are so young and you finally find something that really, really moves you, this is something you want to do and you want to be a part of. For me, that was, heavier music. So once I got into the scene, it was really hard to, navigate around. I did go through a period where I was, friends with people who I thought were going to be into the music, but it turns out they really weren't, and, I was just annoying the shit out of them. So I just decided to leave that group because it was toxic and it was full of drama, and that's all I really, and this is growing from, when I was younger, I did not have any friends. And it was I probably had one or two friends, and then we ended up falling out once middle school ended. So I didn't really have a lot of friends, and I wasn't used to being in a friend group. So once I saw all this girl drama, I was just oh my gosh, is this how all girls are? So then I just started dissociating from, being a part of groups where there's a lot of girls. Because I just assumed, oh, girls just want drama, but I'm not like other girls. I'm totally one of the guys, right? And it felt like being in such a male-dominated scene that the only way I could feel valid was by getting the approval of other guys. And, not every girl is going to feel this way, but I was so in denial of my self-worth and, my own dignity that I needed the acceptance and the validation of other people. And because, there weren't as many girls in the community, and I just thought every other girl was a poser. And keep in mind, this was when I was 14, and I was just, so resentful of, other girls, because I was just girls are catty, girls are vicious, we're constantly jealous of each other, and at the same time, that also stemmed from me feeling bad about myself, me feeling I'm not good enough, my only self-worth is my knowledge about this music. That was how I felt. I didn't feel pretty. I didn't feel good enough besides my own intellect for the scene, which I really didn't have much at all. I was just a complete bigot in every way possible. And then I became an elitist, and this is something that I see with girls, in the community, younger girls, and I've had girls make hate videos on me before. I've had very elitist comments coming from girls, young girls, and even some older women too, who've been part of the scene since the early 90s. And, it's just like, I've been there, but, if you don't have a proper reason to hate somebody, I'm just going to assume that you don't recognize your own self-worth and you're taking it out on somebody who, you're probably envious of. And, when I would see these really, really beautiful girls on Instagram, who definitely fit the beauty standards at the time, and they'd be showing off their band shirts, they'd be showing off their CDs, they'd be doing modeling. I'd get so jealous because I felt like that's another form of validation, but at the same time, you see that so much. When you see a really attractive girl, people just call them posers, like, oh, you're just doing that for attention. Like, you can be very fashionable, and you can love makeup, you can love all this feminine stuff, and still be a part of the scene. Like, that doesn't matter. And I feel like that's where the confusion kind of hits when it comes to, like, being so young. You don't really, like, know how to navigate around that, I feel. And I'm kind of getting off topic, and I'm getting kind of mixed up, but I did leave some notes, and I did cover a lot of them. And keep in mind, this is from my own experience, that I feel I can somehow tap into other, not even just girls, but just people in the community, like really young people that end up sinking to the level and affiliating with elitists. And what it really stems from is not only a lack of self-worth, but it's the need to feel valid. It's the need to feel validated in something that you feel connected to, and wanting to be a part of the community. You just end up falling with the wrong people. There shouldn't be a need to feel valid, because when you need that validation so bad, because your self-esteem is so low, that you end up affiliating with really bad people in the scene, because they're going to make you feel valid in some sense because you feel the same way as they do. Now keep in mind, we all know this, there is elitism, and there are really toxic bad people in every community, so I'm not personally attacking anybody specifically. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on that, and I know, like, it does sound like I'm ranting. That's just, like, my tone of voice. Beauty standards should not have a place in the music itself, because you are here for a reason. Are you here because of how people look, or are you here because you like the music? Just think about that for a second, okay? Are you here because of the fashion? Are you here because of how other people look? Or are you genuinely here because you feel connected to the music? That's basically the whole summary of it. I'm really hoping that it did come off the right way, but that's all I want to say. I hope you guys have a good day. And I hope you might have learned something here. This might have been completely pointless, but here you go.